Hi, everybody. My name's Kendra. I'm one of the faculty counselors at Edmonds College. That's our new name. I work at the Counseling and Resource Center. And right now, during all the stress of the stay home, stay safe order, and just for, general benefit, a lot of our counselors have been making videos highlighting different skills, good ways to take care of yourself. So I'm making one today. This is my first video. You'll notice I have my headband because I tried to cut my own bangs because of the whole stay home thing. So what are you going to do? But this is my first video. It's going to be on a skill called Wise Mind. It's something that you might be familiar with. It's something that might be new to you. This is meant to be just a real basic overview so that if you're interested in learning more, you can definitely make an appointment with one of our counselors. I'll talk about how to do that at the end of the video. With any of my videos, and I would say any of the videos that our counselors are making, it's highlighting a lot of different skills. And so what I like to tell folks is not every skill is going to work as well for every different person. So you might practice Wise Mind after watching this video today, and you might decide this is not helpful. I don't really get this. Don't be discouraged. Try a different video, try a different skill. There's a lot of good options out there. So just know that not every skill works as well. Okay. All right, so Wise Mind is a little bit abstract. It can be hard to kind of describe and teach, so bear with me. But I think the best way for us to start is I'm going to have you do just a short exercise. What I want you to do is pick a dilemma. So go ahead and pick something that is bothering you, something that requires some kind of decision or action. Some examples might be feeling the need to talk to your partner about needing more time alone, or trying to figure out if now is a good time to go back to school. A lot of different options. Just pick one that's meaningful for you. What I'm going to have you do is you can go ahead and pause the video and take some time to write out this dilemma. So write out exactly what's going on, what are your thoughts about it, how it's affecting you. And whenever you're ready, you can press play again. Okay, I feel like I gave people enough of a chance to hit the pause and play button. So go ahead and hold on to this dilemma, hold on to what you just wrote out. We're going to come back to that. But now we're going to kind of jump into the basic overview of Wise Mind. You might notice I'm glancing down occasionally. I have my little notes to help me kind of order things, so I do apologize, but I can't hold this all in my brain, believe it or not. So the best way to think about Wise Mind is to use a Venn diagram. So as long as I am technologically savvy, as I think I am, in theory, hopefully there's a Venn diagram in the video up here in the corner. If not, I'm going to go ahead and describe it to you visually as well. So with the Venn diagram, Wise Mind is the center circle where the two circles are overlapping, the parts where they're joined. That's what you can think of as Wise Mind. And then on the outside are two different minds, Emotion Mind and Rational Mind. So what you're basically looking at is kind of two extreme ways of operating, and then Wise Mind is the way of kind of pulling it all together and pulling from both of them. So to understand Wise Mind a little bit more, we're going to talk about those two extremes first. So the first one is Emotion Mind. So Emotion Mind is exactly what it sounds like. It's the mind that really is ruled by emotion. So this one people describe as running hot. It's very impulsive. You feel an emotion and you feel the need to take an action. You have to do something. So a lot of people think about, this is a dated reference, but Captain Kirk from the old Star Trek series is a good reference. He's somebody where something happened, he felt an immediate gut need to take some action. He maybe was not always thinking about long-term consequences. So Emotion Mind is something that is really going to help create some comfort in the immediate moment, but is maybe not thinking long-term. So what can happen is it can kind of make our lives a little bit chaotic when we use Emotion Mind too much. We are reacting so much. It can affect our relationships, our ability to maintain our relationships. It can affect our work life and our ability to maintain a job. It really chaos, it can be the right word for it, if we're using that Emotion Mind way too much to make those decisions. On the other side of that, we have Rational Mind, and Rational Mind is often kind of the response to too much Emotion Mind and chaos, where it's almost doing its best to kind of shut off or shut out those emotions. So Rational Mind is really doing the best to just take a look at logically what is going on and what do I need to do? What is my plan of attack? That can sound really good on paper, but the downside of rational mind is that since it has done such a good job of trying to cut out or push away those emotions, it's not taking into account what would it feel like to follow this plan of action. So often we're not very happy, again, long term, because doing the things our rational mind wants us to do don't always feel good to do. Okay? So when we think about rational mind, if we use the old Star Trek reference again, you can think of Spock, who did his best to kind of minimize emotion. He was raised to minimize his emotions, right? So there was a lot of times where that did get him into trouble. There was times when it was absolutely helpful, but there was times when it was not so helpful. So what we're really looking at is a way to bring these two together. And that's where we find wise mind. So let's kind of walk through an example of what these two differences would look like. That can kind of help highlight it a little bit more. So let's say you get a bad grade on a test. If we're coming from emotional mind, we might be feeling a lot of different things. We might be feeling shame, we might be feeling anger, anxiety, fear, disgust, just a lot of uncomfortable emotion. And so emotion mind doesn't want to feel those uncomfortable emotions, and it's going to make a quick, impulsive decision. So I'm going to drop all of my classes so I don't have to feel with it, any of these emotions, and I'm going to figure out next quarter what I need to do differently. So certainly it has helped alleviate the discomfort in that moment, but we haven't thought long term. And maybe this isn't the best time to drop all of our classes. Maybe there were some other solutions we could have considered, but emotion mind is not going to do a good job of that. It's going to react immediately and in the moment. So if we are coming at that bad test grade from our rational mind's going to look at this and go, all right, time to come up with a plan of attack. So I got this bad grade. I need to get at least a B on the next exam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to study for 4 hours every night. I'm going to contact the instructor at least once a week. I'm going to form a study group, and this is going to be good. We're going to pass this class. Again, sounds really, really good on paper, but can you imagine what would it feel like to sit down and study all those hours every single night? And what would it feel like if there was a night where we couldn't study all those hours? Are we going to be disappointed? Are we going to feel like we're failing the plan? So rational mind is really doing its best, just like emotion mind, but again, it's not a perfect solution. Wise mind would be figuring out how to bring both of these together. So I'm feeling all of these really uncomfortable emotions. My gut reaction is I want to drop all these classes so I don't have to feel them, but maybe there are some alternatives. So maybe I do need to increase my study time. I need to contact my instructor. What's a reasonable amount of time that I can be spending on that? Okay, not an extra 4 hours a night. Maybe adding some extra time each week, or a study group on the weekends, seeing what my instructor recommends before I make a decision. So wise mind is kind of bringing both of those things together to help figure out what's the best solution and what would it feel like to carry out that solution. Okay. So people might find that they use one of the, the emotion mind or rational mind. They might use one over the other more often. A lot of people find themselves kind of swinging between the two, and one stops working as well. So kind of think about yourself and think about, do you see yourself as more of a person who uses emotion mind or rational mind, or uses kind of both depending on the situation? Or maybe you're somebody who's already using wise mind, in which case, bravo, good job. That's not an easy thing to do. All right. So wise mind, if we kind of dig a little bit deeper into what that is, because we kind of talked about wise minds bringing, both of these things into account, but how do you actually do that? It's kind of difficult. In a way, wise mind is sort of this hard to describe, almost like a state of being. People describe it as when they feel centered, when they feel calm and grounded, when they feel like they're pulling on their inner wisdom, hence the term wise mind. That's when they know they're coming from this place of wise mind. But how do you actually get there? How do you do that? Let's talk about that a little bit more. So what I want you to do now is go back to that dilemma I had you kind of write out, think about at the very beginning of this video. And what I want you to do is you can pause the video again. And what you're going to do is look through what you wrote out and pick out the places where you were coming from emotion mind, pick out the places where you were coming from rational mind, and pick out places where you saw yourself coming from wise mind. So go ahead and pause the video, take your time to do that, and then we'll come back together. Okay, again, I hope you had enough time to do your pause and all of that. Welcome back. So good. What did you notice? Did you notice you were using one a lot more than the other? Did you notice you were using quite a bit of blend of all of the above? Were you using mostly wise mind? Kind of take a look and analyze the results that you came up with and think about, is that typical for me? Was this different than the way I normally operate when I am faced with a decision? And I want you to remember, finding wise mind and using wise mind is really difficult. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of encouragement. So don't get down on yourselves if you're having trouble with this. It can be really, really tricky. So what I recommend doing is this exercise that we just did. Taking some time, maybe once a week, to pick a dilemma, something that came up for you somewhat recently or still kind of an open decision, and writing it out and looking at, where am I coming from rational mind, where am I coming from emotion mind? If there's not a lot of wise mind in there, can I write out some more things that feel a little bit more like wise mind? Again, coming from that wise mind, it's taking into account both sides. What are your current emotional reactions? What are they wanting you to do? And what's kind of some rational or logic we can add into it? And how would it feel to follow that rational and logic route? So with any new skill that I'm ever talking about with somebody, I really, really recommend practicing it in moments when you're feeling settled and when you're feeling calm. And the reason I encourage this is because if we have a new skill that we want to use that's going to help us through tough moments, if the first time we practice it is in one of those tough moments, it's kind of challenging. So if you're able to practice it when you're kind of feeling okay, to the point where it feels more automatic to use that skill, the next time you are in a situation that's challenging, it's going to be that much easier to have it feel automatic, practiced, and ready to go. This absolutely holds true for wise mind as well. So make sure you're giving yourself the time and the patience to kind of practice this. And the best way to do that is to kind of go back and look at things, take some time to write things out. Then you'll start to notice you're able to use that more in the current moment. And then you're going to be able to start practicing wise mind more and more. Okay. So as we wrap up, I imagine you have questions, which is totally understandable. Wise mind, again, is kind of a, nebulous thing. What I recommend is, practice it on your own, talk about it with a friend or a family member, somebody that you can check in with. If you have a current therapist, talk to them about it. And if you just want to know more about it, make an appointment with one of our counselors. That's a great place to talk about it. So we are still open. We're meeting with all of our clients and new clients remotely using either phone sessions or secure video sessions. So to make an appointment, I'm going to lean away again in case technologically I can put the information up here. You can give our center a call. Our number is 425-640-1358, or you can go to our website, which is edcc.edu/counseling. So either of those options is going to tell you more information about how to make an appointment. We're here to help you. We're here to support you. We hope you are all staying healthy and staying safe. Just remember, support is out there and we're one of those options for you. Okay, take care, everybody. I'll see you in the next video at some point in the future.